this way of expressing Trinitarian doctrine is no good. I think it works as far as sort of pop apologetics are concerned, but I don't think that serious Trinitarians would accept this as a summary of what the Trinitarian doctrine teaches. In the first place, because it's ambiguous. What does it mean when he says that there's one what? For example, between the two of us, right? There's one what, because what are you, a human being? What am I, a human being? So as far as you and I are concerned, we are one what. We are we are human beings, right? We have this whatness in common. We are nevertheless two beings, right? When you ask the question, what am I? And you ask the question, what is Carlos? You give the same answer, a human being, but we're two beings. So if you and I are two beings and we're still one what, why shouldn't there be three gods then in the case of the Trinity? If you mean by one what, you mean a thing, so not just one type of thing, but one thing, how do you have three persons in one thing? Because normally a person is a kind of thing. A person in the class, so for example, the classical definitions of person, Boethius defines a person as an individual substance of a rational nature. So if you have an individual thing, and that thing naturally has rationality, then you have a person, whether you have a human being or an angel or an extraterrestrial or whatever it might be. If you have one individual thing out there in the world, and that thing has rationality by nature, then it's a person. And so if you have two persons or three persons, then you have three things. Or you can go to John of Damascus. John of Damascus defines a person as an individual that appears to us as sort of distinct and set off from other individuals of the same kind. So, for example, I am a person because even though I am of the same kind as you, nevertheless, my appearance is distinct and set off. You can distinguish me from other human beings or other human persons. For John of Damascus, a person is a clearly distinguished individual thing of whatever kind of nature, right? So if you look according to these classical definitions of persons, if you have three persons, you have three things. That's just the way it is. Three things with a rational nature is three persons for Boethius. Three clearly distinct individual things of whatever kind of nature is three persons for John of Damascus. If you have three persons, you have three things. And if you have three divine things, then you have three gods. That's just the way it is. So it seems to me that this formula of one what and three whos does not do much to alleviate the problems, because we can ask, in what sense do you mean that there is one what? Do you mean that there's one thing, or do you mean that there's one kind of thing involved? Because between the two of us, there's one kind of thing, a human being, but there's still two things, two beings. So also, when you say a person, what do you mean by a person? Because the classical definitions of persons identify persons as individual discrete things, just like I am a person and you are a person, right? Because you can tell us apart. Well, if you have two persons or three persons, then it looks like you have three gods. So I don't see really how this formula does very much or goes very far in terms of explaining the doctrine of the Trinity without reducing it to tritheism.